You might not be able to play NBA 2K24 anymore. There's been a lot going on in the 2K community over the last few weeks. The main topic of discussion has been the new update to their TOS. Basically, if you don't agree to this in game, you will lose access to NBA 2K24. Now, I think the deadline for this is the end of February on the 28th, but don't quote me. Do a little bit of research. But all this began with the current lawsuit that 2K is currently facing regarding microtransactions. So essentially, a minor and his mother is suing them, claiming that they are stealing from players who purchase VC because they lose access to it and the things they bought with it once the servers are shut off. And the 2K22 servers were just shut down. I believe the cycle is every 2 years, so when 2K25 comes out, the 2K23 servers will be shut down. And I'm pretty sure the 2K22 servers just shut down back in December, like December 31st. But the mother is wanting to be refunded for unspent VC since the servers are shut down. Take-Two, aka the owners of 2K, are attempting to have the case dismissed on the grounds that VC doesn't actually belong to the players and it's not our property. They stated that in-game VC are fictions created by the game publishers that is subject to the publisher's terms of service and user agreements. Take-Two's end-user license agreement states that the company may eliminate virtual currency as and when it wishes. So this is basically saying that we don't own our VC even though we bought it with real money. The court will decide whether or not to continue with this case in March. If y'all want to read these articles for yourself, I'll have links to a couple of them down in the description. Now, with the new terms of service, it's basically making you agree to not try and sue them. However, you can opt out of this new arbitration agreement if you want to hold on to that right, just in case. You never know what might happen, but that's for you to decide. There's a gentleman on Twitter who created a template. I'll put a screenshot. So if you want to fill that out and send that in to 2K, you can, so you can opt out of the arbitration agreement. This gentleman used to be a 2K content creator and he's also a retired lawyer, so he knows what he's talking about. But the thing is, it's 2K and or Take-Two, so most people couldn't even fathom taking on a company as large as them, so they just sign the TOS and they just go on about their day. But there are some people, a very small select few, who would still want to have that right to a trial, and they wouldn't want that right to be taken away from them. So they would read the TOS, and if there was a such thing in it as opting out of the arbitration agreement, which is in their new terms of service, they're going to take the steps to do that. But from all of this, I think this should just encourage us to start reading things before we just agree to it, because there's plenty of times where we do this on our day-to-day, or we just hit agree and we just accept whatever comes with that without actually reading everything fully through, because companies know what they're doing when they put out these terms of service and all these different agreements. The shit be too long to read, so nobody is going to take the time to read all of that. It's probably just out of pure laziness, but that's just for us to get out of that bad habit and make sure we're reading and know exactly what we're signing and getting ourselves into. We could be signing away our whole left testicle and we wouldn't have a single clue. Now, I personally don't think there's an issue with the terms of service. Like, they do allow you to opt out of the arbitration agreement, so you can still hold on to that right to a trial. If you want to take them to court one day for something that you think is worth it, you can opt out of it. Now, there are plenty of games that have similar TOS. Call of Duty, like it's a bunch of games out there, and the TOS, like the language in the terms of service, is like similar to what 2K has in their terms of service. So we already play a bunch of games where their TOS is just like this, so it's not like this is something new. It's just, since it's 2K, you know, the community has its ups and downs with 2K, so they want to make it a really big thing. But I do kind of not like what's going on with the VC. Now, of course, I do understand the fact that it's virtual currency. Yes, that it only can be used in the game. It's not something physical or tangible that we have when we purchase it, but we do spend our actual money for the VC. So I do think it's a kind of a bummer that once the servers shut down, you lose all of that. Like, if you got leftover VC, you lose that, or, you know, and everything that you spent your VC on, because you can't get online and use the My Player and all that stuff. So you kind of essentially just lose out on all of that. But to combat this, I think 2K should just let the VC roll over in case you got extra once the servers shut down, or just hopefully they just keep the servers up. Now, I could have sworn I've heard before, I can't remember the game, but I think there are games that leave their servers up for people to play on. Like it's still people playing NBA Live 19 to this day. The servers are still up, and I'm pretty sure they could probably buy stuff on that game still if they wanted to, but the servers are still up. So it's possible for 2K to keep their servers up. I don't know what that would take on their end for them to do that, but I think that that would be a solution. I would hope that they could do that sometime in the future, because it also would let players play the game of their choosing. Not everybody doesn't like every iteration of 2K that comes out. You know, they may want to stay on their favorite version of the game. Like a lot of people like 2K18, 2K16, like they may want to stay on those versions of the game. But you have to think of it from a business standpoint also. If nobody was buying the newest version of 2K, they would be losing out on money. But there are the majority of people who just will want to prefer to buy the newest one that comes out, because there's going to be things in the game that aren't in the older editions. Like for instance, this year we got the new pro play, the new badge system. Like the pro play animation has been dope. We got more realistic animations, and we have way more animations because of the pro play technology. So that would be something that the other games would lack. But there are people who don't really care about any of that stuff. They just think that the new game is just basically updated rosters, and they don't care. They just will play the one that they got, and they don't want to keep spending their money on the game. It's cool. But I do think this brings up another good point that I'm about to point out in just a second. But on Twitter, I'm not one to be having other people's names in my mouth and just mentioning a whole bunch of other people. But sometimes I will reference certain tweets to either put some context up, or if somebody has a good point. Now, iPod King Carter on Twitter, y'all know who he is in the 2K community, a very big face in the 2K community. Now, he read the article about the VC, and what he had to say about it, he said that it's safe to say if VC is not his property and it's just fictitious creations of the game producers, at the end of the day, I guess I will save my fictional money and hold off on spending it. And I think that was a good take. Like, you don't have to buy VC whatsoever. You're gonna buy the game every year, and that's gonna be just enough. You do not have to buy VC. That's completely your choice. I mean, there are kids out there who ask their parents for VC, but it is completely possible to make a player and have a no money spent player. You do not have to buy VC. Now, making a no money spent player is going to be a little bit more difficult because you have to actually grind the game for your VC, but you know what I'm saying? It's a better alternative if you don't feel like spending the money, or if you're just through with spending money on 2K. Or if you don't want to have to worry about all this stuff going on with the VC, just don't spend your money. Just grind your player and earn your VC in the game. It's really that simple. Now, but you know, of course, there are other things in the game that people want to have. Your clothes, shoes, tattoos, and all of that stuff. But like I said, if you want that stuff, you can save up your VC and you can just grind the game and buy it that way. Now, I do wish it was a little easier to earn VC, because you got to grind quite a bit to get that VC to stack up and put in a lot of hours into the game. So maybe in the future, if 2K can increase the amount of VC that we get, that'll definitely help out. But it is possible to play the game this way. Now, we already know 2K makes a big chunk of their money off of microtransactions. I think it might be the biggest way they make their money, because I don't think the biggest way is off of sales alone. So the microtransactions is a big contribution to how much they pull in for the game each year. Everybody spends their money to buy VC and upgrade their player and things of that nature. But it's also certain things that 2K can do because they don't have any competition. People like to compare NBA Live and 2K because NBA Live, a lot of people like that you can grind your player and get things for your player without having to spend a whole bunch of money like what people do now with 2K. And as of right now, 2K is the only basketball game that's out right now. So they don't have any sort of competition. They're not really having to push the needle as much because there's no other company that's giving them any competition to do so. And that's going to be really difficult because NBA Live was supposed to make a comeback, but we still don't see them to this day. I don't know if they plan their comeback, but it's hard for any company to try to make a basketball game, even if they wanted to start one, because the biggest issue is trying to get the NBA license for the game. It's very expensive. I have no idea how much it costs, but I'm hearing that it's very expensive, and that's the most expensive thing when it comes to making a game, is getting the NBA license for the players. Like, and then after that, if you, as a company, if you're spending most of your entire budget on the license to, you know, use anything NBA related with the players and just everything in the league, then there goes a big chunk of your budget for the rest of the game, for graphics and everything else. So I don't know. I wasn't really a huge fan of NBA Live. I didn't care for the graphics or the animations. And maybe to me, that's what situation they were in. Maybe they had spent most of their money on the license to, put all this stuff in the game. And then they had less of a budget to work with in terms for animations and graphics and all that other stuff in different departments. So maybe that was the case, but I have no idea. I'm completely speculating. But Badge Plug did have a good suggestion to combat this. He said that yes, 2K currently has the license to use NBA players, which is the big driver keeping out competition since it's so expensive, but that doesn't mean someone can't come in and create a game with park/rec, whatever, with created players and builds. Game Freak, the creators of Pokemon, have been making garbage for years, and Power World came out of nowhere with an insanely smaller budget and showed them they can not only compete with them, but make something even better. Power DF said in response to that, I think the whole reason most of us play this game is because they have the NBA license, though. I'm honestly not sure. I played the exact same game without the NBA rights. Bash Plug said, I'm confident a game like 2K with a passionate vocal team could do good without a license if done right. Think about just how many people would try it out of spite. So I definitely think a company could come along and do that. Like they could just make a basketball game and not have any NBA licenses attached to it. I'll be curious to see how that will turn out in terms of like animations and just like what all they will put in the game. But let me know down in the comments, man, what do y'all think about this whole situation? What do you think about the terms of service? What do you think about VC being fictional? What do you think about a basketball game being created without an NBA license? Would you still play it? Do you think it would be any good? And what do you plan to do about the current terms of service for NBA 2K24? Because if you don't sign it, you'll lose access to the game. So is it not really a big deal to you? Are you just gonna sign it so you can play the game, or are you not playing 2K right now? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And Power World, actually, like, Power World has been doing numbers on lately. Like for over the past few weeks since the game came out, it's been nothing but Power World stuff on my Twitter feed. So it is making some noise. And then like I've seen discussions of people talking about how Power World really is not gonna do anything compared to Pokemon, but it's been making a lot of noise, and it's a new company. Of course, they don't have the experience that Pokemon has, and it hasn't been around for that long, but that doesn't mean that it can't be better or do some things better than Pokemon because it's a new company. It's had all this time to see what Pokemon has done right and the things that it's done wrong and try to implement those things in their games. So it's definitely giving Pokemon some good competition, and they're definitely going to come back and do something even better than Power World. That's just what competition does. Iron sharpens iron, and that's what the case is going to be. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel down below. And if you got a 7-foot big and you're looking for the best jump shot on NBA 2K24, be sure to check out this video.